What is up, guys? And in this series, I've done Weedle, I've done Kakuna, now it is time for me to roast Beedrill. As per usual, this is not constructive, this is just some roast for kicks. Starting off here, we've got Rob Jr., and after taking Deoxys Defense, he decided, you know what? I got Deoxys Defense, let's make a theme here. I will just draft one of the most ratchet teams I have ever seen. And since he's got Deoxys Defense, that frees him up to take 6 fighting weaknesses on the team, including 2 offensive darks, which are going to free things up for his offensive fighting, which is, well, also bug type. So there goes the help catching psychics, yeah. Next up here, we got Leo. He has asked me to not pull any punches here and go in on his team with no mercy, and very well, I will. I do respect, though, that he went for one of my favorite water grass cores with Roserade and Suicune, and then he decided to go for another top grass type in Bulu, because you need 2 ones, right? I can see the thought process playing out in his head at the end. He's like, shit, this team loses to Hazards. Oh wait, I still got a tier 5 pick. Come on, Cryogonal. And I see the game plan for speed on this team was Lycanroc Dusk, and that's it. But it's okay, because the plan for priority on this team is Lycanroc Dusk, and that's it. You gotta love Tapu Bulu, neither being the team's grass type, Roserade, or fairy type, Sylveon. He's got a Fairy Steel Dragon Core here of Sylveon, Escavalier, and Mega Ampharos. I guess no one told our hero that for a core to work, the Pokemon in it have to be good. Next up here, we've got my boy Vino. And you know what? I like to pair quad weaknesses together, but my man took that a little bit too serious here with Landorus, Therian, Swampert, Pangoro, Scizor, Salazzle, Celebi, and Articuno. That's, for those who can't count, 7 unique quad weaknesses on his team. Gotta love when a team's got Pangoro, but its dark type is Scizor. I noticed the game plan was to have the team's second best water and Swampert be the switch into every rock attack ever. Seems the plan there. And next up here we've got my boy Dra. And Dra's got himself an interesting strategy here. 2 waters for his grass, Servine. Gotta love Heatran with only 1 ground immunity. Draw's a smart man, though. He knows that the real strategy, is just to set up a Clef. Oh, I keep always trying to drag that down on the OBS instead of trying to scroll down to the next team. Next up here, we've got Nader with this interesting little Altaria Mega team. No comment on the Altaria Mega. Well, maybe some comment on it. I can feel in his mind the thought process of, shit, I don't have any speed between Jirachi and Weavile, and I only got a tier 5 pick left. Come on, Raichu Alola with no Coco. I noticed for the Fairy Steel Dragon Core, Mega Altaria is supposed to be the fairy, and it's supposed to be the dragon, while in reality it's neither. At least the man knew all he needed was a regen core and a regen core and a Porygon 2. That's all you need to rock and roll. Next up here we got my boy Papa Max. He had me at the start with a Gallade and then the Zygarde core. And then he took Hoopa and Whimsy, and now my dick is softer than a melting marshmallow. I hope he likes bringing Mandibuzz, because that is his only answer to Earthquakes. Or, Shadow Balls from a Gengar or a Chandelure. Speaking of Chandelure, next up here we've got Juiced. We got a team here that looks like two separate teams. One hyper-offensive and one stall, and they just kind of got awkwardly mushed together. Has that kind of appearance to it. We've got a powerful Reuniclus Latias defensive core. And to pair with the also pursuit trappable Chandelure. But at least he's got for the fighting type a Hitmonlee to pressure him. And lastly in this row we have got TC. And I think the theme here is mono the worst Z-user choices possible. Look at this. Does he have the Infernape? No, he's got Galvantula. Well, Azumarill can Z-Belly Drum. Does he have the Azumarill? Nope, he's got the Omastar. Does he have the Mew, which can do any type? Nope, he has got the Hippowdon, which is making great use of Z moves. What about the Serperior to give it the Normalium Z, or the Rotom, which is a decent Z user? Nope, he's got the Bisharp. I don't know if he used a random number generator to pick his users or what, but these are legendary for poor choices, I think. Oh, and he chose the only Mega that's useless. Scroll down here. Next up we got Ace Trainer Josh. A man who has some kind of new idea that speed doesn't matter. That seems to be the thing. My man here is gearing up to just lose to a modest Latios, it looks like. Well, what does a Donphan team need but a Mudsdale? You know what? I almost respect it, actually. I almost respect it just because Mudsdale at 40 points is such value. And I noticed that this team, aside from Mawile, looks like offense without really having offense. Somehow. Next up here we got my personal hero, Illusion. What can I really say about Illusion? How can I really go into Illusion's team? Well, loses to Electric. On to the next one, we got TDG. And when you drop Mega Venusaur, and you need a Psychic answer for Mega Venusaur to set that thing up, well, you are good with that Dark-type Ponyard, and then one other Psychic resist that has a 4x weakness in Scizor. That is all you need. Well, expect with this team to see a lot of Gligar. Since he doesn't believe in having multiple answer to types, he's just going to have Gligar every week as the Earthquake switch in. Or how about his one single answer to Rock in Lucario? Next up here we got Commonly, who appeals to some of my instincts with the Piloswine and the Quilladin. Almost don't want to roast the team, but I will absolutely. You know what? The team, I think, is super woke in fully understanding that he's basically just only going to be winning games with Mega Alakazam and Garchomp because he doesn't have much else here that does much of anything. And you know what? I'll say Piloswine. I gotta give Piloswine credit. Most of the other stuff is pretty whack aside from the big two. But I always gotta give a shout out to Piloswine, which might just be the best mon. Next up here, down here, we got Bill. Oh god. Oh god, look at how ugly those Pokemon are. He just mono drafted the ugliest mons in existence. I am getting that off the screen. I don't want to look at it. You don't want to look at it. Let's get rid of that. You know, I'm just going to move it all the way off the screen and just cover Mio on the right side of the screen there. There we go. Whew, I want to look at that thing again. Alright, next up here we have got Mio's team. I see we're going with Asla Zygarde switching for Hawthorne. Nothing else resists 1,000 arrows. Frothlorn doesn't either, but Frothlorn resists anything that's a neutral hit on it. I see that he kind of realized it though, and he at least made sure that no one else was getting the crappy Zygarde. Don't know what his game plan is when the good Zygarde comes, but I'm sure he'll cook up something. I gotta say that a Zygarde 10%, that's exactly the Pokemon you need when you already have the best dragon in Latios. Next up here we have got Sablo. And I see a recurring theme here in Beedrill. People here do not believe you need multiple answers to Earthquake because we've just got here Crobat and then Gourgeist, which is in Sand, and its only recovery is Synthesis. Also, it's not that good of a Pokemon, but alas. I see a nice bulky water core in Quagsire and Tentacruel. And accordingly, Tentacruel is going to be their whole answer to bulky waters, it looks like, because, again, Gourgeist is completely cucked by the sand, and also still is not that great. And last here, but not least, we have got Furfrou. Let's not ignore the fact that this team is called Joltik Thistle, which might just be... I mean, maybe it's like this super woke reference that I don't get, but I think mostly it's just horrible of a name. Not the Ratchet Semi-Trick Room team. Not that again. Considering no one creeps a speed boost mon, it looks like we've got a big speed tier gap between Zeraora and the good old Manaphy there. Just a drop off from 423 to 328, no big deal. But I love Comfey, so some points for that at least. That's all for this video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Have yourselves a good night.